We should be live. Let's just double check. Ba-da-ba-ba. Finally back onto streaming for YouTube. Okay, let's go share on Twitter, Discord, and all the other fun places. But hello everybody, if anyone is in here early. Hello JNC, hello Contraband. How's it going today? Hello Red Hood, hello Kyrian. Oh, how Jay? It is. It's been going. It's like every time I'm doing a podcast, the breaks between are getting smaller, but still failing miserably at keeping this weekly. AMAC, what is up? Just tweeted this out, so let's drop it on the Facebook group and Discord so we can get on with this. But yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shin Megami Tensei Live. Shin Megami Tensei Network Live, Link 304, the Let's Play edition, because I still have a bunch of stuff to do. It's super early in the morning, or at least early by when we would normally do this standards. But yes, I'm your host, Spencer Presley. And today we're not talking about manga. Today we're not talking about Persona 5X. No. We're talking about the rumor that just won't die and why one of the biggest guys against Persona 3 getting remade is talking about it. So yeah, Persona 3 remake rumors, they've been around, they're not going anywhere. Why the heck are they being discussed now, and what are our thoughts on it? So if you're listening to this live or watching this live on YouTube, ask any questions. If you have any opinions as well, let me know. But it's such an interesting situation. And also, yes, I'll be playing P3P the whole time. The whole situation is just so weird. Like, rumors, I would say, really started kicking up again maybe less than 12 months ago. And with that being the case, I remember being like, oh, well, rumors are always happening, or blah, 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 whatever. And I've always been in the camp of, especially because the rumors were really kicking up pre-Persona 3 Portable re-release coming out in January. Hello, Jody. No, half emergency podcast, half I'm terrible at doing podcasts on a consistent basis because my life is still a jobless nightmare pit, which hopefully will be fixed one day. Please send all your thoughts and prayers. But no, we're here either way. It was like I told my wife, I was like, oh my god, I'm off on a Monday. I can't wait just to play Resident Evil 4 Remake finally. And then it was like, no, I have to talk about Persona, but it's okay because I miss talking to you guys, so it works out. But I want this to just kind of start reminding this. I am, again, a very firm believer in Persona 3 does not need a remake. Interesting as well that this is coming from a guy who pretty much loves all current modern remakes that have been getting cranked out. Persona 3, at least for me, I've never really minded playing Portable, and I've always viewed this as my definitive version. But I completely... Wow, what a weird luck to get, like, the treasure floor on this one. Not bad. But, oh, wow, that was fast. Oh, I guess makes sense with the treasure floors. But yes, oh. Well, you did your best, though. So, Oh yeah, and she's dead. But yeah, so it's just so interesting then that this was this thing that people thought, well, we have to have a Persona 3 remake because there's no version that has all the content from Fez, all the content from Portable. Like, there's just no definitive, de facto way to play this, according to a lot of people. And, well, I definitely understand that, and I definitely see it. It's just so funny watching them just slide around, but that's okay. Sorry, Yucatan. But I was like, hey, I've heard nothing. If I ever heard anything that said otherwise, I would let everyone know. But I had heard nothing. I'd heard nothing for the longest time, and it was like, yeah, like, there's just nothing that says this is happening. If there is, I'll let you know. But right now, there's no one to make it. There's no time to do any of this. So, yeah, just stop talking about it. Like, if anything, you're hurting the sales of... I am weirdly tempted to just revive her. We'll see if I regret this, just so I don't have to go all the way back out. Well, I guess actually I could. We'll see if I hate this later. And then we'll do skill. There we go. But after all that said, there was a lot of radio silence, and I know people who to ask when things aren't really official, but I kind of want to know an answer. And it was pretty quiet on the Western Front, or at least on the Atlas Western Front. To be fair, actually, a lot of people I had known at Atlas have been leaving over the last couple of months, especially in the post-SMT5 Atlas era. Hello, Mirth. Wow, I did not see the shadow at all. And what was so strange about it is then this video pops up. I'm leaving out some middle parts, but I at least want to kind of get to where right now. This video pops up on Twitter/Reddit yesterday, and is like, hey, here's internal footage of this Persona 3 remake concept. Or maybe gameplay, who knows? What's up, Jigengus? And as I said, while I shared this video, I said, hey, just letting y'all know, I have no thoughts of this. This could be real, this could be fake, this could be whatever. But I actually had it confirmed to me a couple of times throughout this year already that Persona 3 was in development. Persona 3 is in development in terms of a remake way. And it was so funny because actually I would be talking to people in and out of Atlas, and the topic came up of Persona 3 around the remaster, and I would go, yeah, it's a shame the remaster rumor just won't die. And they're like, oh no, about the remake, because it's happening though. And like thinking that, oh, I have to know that it's legit. And so through people basically assuming I had already known that the remake was legit, I kind of had it confirmed to me through multiple people and then was able to check up on it. So it was just so funny then to be like, oh, okay, well, I trust these sources. Let me see what else I can find about it. And again, none of this has to do with the footage, but I saw the footage going around yesterday, which sparked the discussion. And I was like, okay, while people are talking about this, I at least have a good excuse to just kind of put it out here and just let people know, hey, whether this footage ends up being real, a test footage, actually in development, a Persona 5 mobile crossover event, it doesn't matter. I just wanted people to know, hey, if you actually want this, it's being worked on. My details on it are pretty light. I put most of it on the tweet, but it is an internal project being split in development with P Studio, and I'm sure a ton of other like outside help as well, because P Studio is a big studio at Atlas, but also does a lot of collaboration work. So we don't know if they're the main developer yet, but they are working on it. They are split directly in the middle. On half of them are working on P3 Remake, and half of them are working on Persona 6. hence why the reveals of last year were so weird and split up, removed, and blah, blah, blah. And I think that makes a lot of sense in terms of what they wanted to do. They probably had a lot of moments where they were like, oh, yeah, let's do this. And it didn't end up working out the way they wanted, or it didn't end up happening, whether it be at all, or maybe they had plans for it. Like, maybe once all of this does get out there. But another important thing to note that I've started telling people is like, hey, also, we still have no plans on this being announced anytime soon. Both of these projects are well into development, but also not really that close into being released. P3 has been worked on, to my knowledge, much longer than P6, but also important to know that Persona 6 has only been in pre-development, like, it's been in the design phase as of 2019. Because remember, the original P5 studio, Studio Zero, is still working on Project Refantasy, and Project Refantasy is a game that's been worked on for a while, but with an incredibly small team, with people coming on who are new, and a lot of the higher-ups have either moved, gone to other projects, or just left the company like Meguro. So Atlas is in a really weird kind of spot hold right now, where, okay, do we then announce a bunch of remasters and remakes and things that are still really far away, or what do we do? Also, yes, Jody, you are correct. Project Refantasy is not real, but I have it at its quietest. I'm not sure how loud it is for you guys, but I'm gonna actually turn down my headset. Let me know how the sound balancing is between Persona 3 and me. Mako Tensei, I'd actually like a follow-up for this, and same with chat. Is Atlas creatively bankrupt for just doing a Persona 3 remake? I wouldn't say yes, but also, it's the thing I want the least from them, for sure. But again, as multiple polls and everything have shown on the internet, there are so many people out there who want Persona 3 to get a proper Persona 5 style remake. It's very weird. It's not my answer, but hey, whatever. They're allowed to have their own pick. So it's hey, I'm sure they've paid attention to either the fans talking about it, the discussion and discourse around the remaster, with Golden and Portable Remake. Jacques brings up another good point. Do you think Persona 3 Remake is part of the reason we didn't get a physical for Persona 3 and 4? No, that's actually, again, just goes to the fact that it was two $20 games, and Atlas pretty much thought it wouldn't sell well at retail, which is stupid. But they're probably going to do something like Sonic Origins, where they just bundle in a third game or something and charge $60 for it. Interesting question. I wonder, because they've actually been promoting Persona 3, 4, and 5 recently, because they've all been on sale on digital platforms. How would we feel about this? How would we feel about a physical triple pack that is just Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal for like $60-$70, all on one disc? Like, the version I would like would be Persona 3 Portable, 4 Golden, and 4 Ultimax, because that never had a Western release. But it's also that's probably not going to happen, because that would be too good. Wow, what a sick combo. But, yeah, is the remake the reason? No. Jacques would have hit on 3 Switch cards. To be fair, the Switch version would probably just be... Well... Let's see. Yeah, Persona 3 and 4 are actually pretty small, and portable, if I'm remembering right. Not portable. If I'm remembering right, Royal's only like less than 16 gigs. They could fit all 3 on a 32 gig cart. But yeah, no, I do not think or put any part in the blame for Remake stopping anything. If anything, the weirder part about it all is I would mostly more put it on the thing of, I just think it again goes back to why did you hold back Portable for so long if Remake was coming? Because like I've been telling you guys, Portable has been coming for months and months and months. Like, I've known about this game. Like, it's been in development for so long. Why space it out that way? Now, hey, maybe they think, or their internal, like, numbers are just saying that, hey, who knows? Maybe maybe Persona 3 Remake is going to be embarrassingly long in development as well, because this is maybe a really ambitious, like, they're going to have to make a whole new city, they're going to have to do, like, assuming how, like, because, like, right now, I'm going to just assume, knowing nothing about the actual quality of the development, but from what I've heard in terms of the money that's being put into this, they are treating this like their Final Fantasy VII Remake. Oh, no, I did. Yeah, I've been talking about Persona 3 Portable being the next port since Golden came out in 2020. Let's see. Who makes all these dumb business decisions, Spencer? Jody, honestly, 9 out of 10 times, a lot of these decisions just come from the, like, corporate overlords who everyone kind of hates. Right? Like, even at Atlas, the people who working at Atlas also hate these decisions. So, not a great answer, but also, like, hey, I guess better than nothing. It's going to be funny when 16 outsells Final Fantasy VII Remake in a month. That's a bold-ass prediction, Morgan. You think a PS5 exclusive is going to outsell Final Fantasy VII on month 1? I would be incredibly impressed. I don't really mind it. There you go. Deep Weep says chances of them removing the evoker, because yes, in that little footage going around, Yukari is shown using her persona without using the evoker. The evokers are still in the game. That was a weirdly one thing I did get an answer on very quickly. I haven't had any kind of confirmation for it, but it's like, hey, like, that wouldn't be taken outright. And no, yeah, the evokers are still in the game. It's literally like part of the game's iconography. They would not remove the evokers because they've been around for so long, clearly not as a gun and not getting in trouble for it. So why would they worry about it now? Is the big one. So I wouldn't worry about that if you're worried about them trying to, like, neuter Persona 3 at all. Yes, kids will still be shooting themselves in the head, so don't worry about anything. Yeah, again, Super Mandible Claw. Persona 5 has guns out the wazoo. Like, there's more shooting in Persona 5 than anything. But yes, if the evoker does get replaced with the water pistol, that would be hilarious. And again, guys, I have no comments on the footage. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's a fan game. I honestly don't really care. It was just a means to me wanting to bring this up because it seemed like a good fit, because I know people wanted to hear about it. I will say this. I saw quite a few people. Like, I saw some people, like, give me a lot of shit when I made that post, just saying, hey, just letting y'all know, this is happening. Because I just kind of thought, hey, this is a PSA. Let people know Persona 3 Remake is happening. So no one's either surprised or, maybe want some weird Easter news. And then, like, I'd say the majority of response to it was people excited. But again, like, I'm not someone to just kind of tweet out some random bullshit on an Easter Sunday and just be the dude trust me guy. While then immediately later on that same night, Gamatsu does the exact same thing I did of just saying, yeah, it's happening. And then no one questioning it. And again, I know I'm not Gamatsu. But I just thought that was so funny that it's like, there was no, Well, especially now because there are other things as well, like the people have been digging around and seeing the domain registration dates and other things like that. But it is just so very funny. I've seen zero backpedaling from the people who who were saying that. You're right, Deep Weave. I am not Sal Romano, and I never will be. But you know what? I have an immense amount of respect for Sal Romano. Kieran, also, great, like, that's, like, kind of the best attitude to view this remake. If you're someone who, like, either doesn't want it or is worried about being burned, I would just say, don't worry, we'll talk about Jet Set Radio. I would just say, honestly, you're not drowning for any other, like, games at the moment. Mandible Claw, you bring up a great point. Will they recast Junpei? The real question, my heart of heart, if anything, tells me this. I feel like everyone gets recast. I would be shocked if we kept the whole cast of Persona 3, except Junpei. Like, all the drama of... Oh my gosh, why am I forgetting his name? Edward Elric, voice actor. Vic Mignogna. Yeah, like... I would be, honestly, kind of more in the camp of... They would probably just get new people to voice them, because everyone who was originally in Persona 3 has, for the most part, gotten immensely more popular and a lot more expensive. Yuri Lowenthal is not cashing those Ben 10 paychecks for nothing. Oh god. The idea of someone in a boardroom just saying Robbie Damon needs to be Robbie David needs to be Junpei would just be like creative levels of bankruptcy that like I'm not mentally ready for. Will the pre-order bonus be a Junpei hat? No, but that would be such a good collector's edition bait. Interesting things I should note that at least I've heard, but obviously everything can kind of change. Right now, apparently there's only like the only SKU that Persona 3 is in development for is PlayStation. So this hasn't come up, but I think this like lines up perfectly with what PlayStation's been doing. Like look at Final Fantasy VII, Silent Hill 2, and other games out there like that. Pretty good chance that Persona 3 Remake's only on PS5, maybe PS4, but by the time it comes out, would you really want it to even be on there? That's not been getting brought up a lot, but again, we're still early. I think it'd be a smart move. Obviously, people would be pissed after all the port begging. And again, Sega, it's just free money for Sega. And yes, you guys say limits the sales being exclusive to PlayStation, but they're getting a huge fat check from PlayStation to just leave it on, put it on less platforms. Also, great point. Mirth brings up a great point. The only way they can afford Yuri Lowenthal is by getting the PlayStation deal.
That was a close one.
Other questions I'd like to ask. How deep of a remake do you all want this to be? Not how deep do we think it's going to be. There's just a lot of levels we could really kind of go at with this, in the sense of, do we want them to go FF7 remake? Do we want them to go more Shadow of the Colossus remake? Also, yes, timed exclusive 100%. Again, nothing is publicly known about anything, but all I'm saying is I only know it is in development for PlayStation right now. That might just be, hey, we're mostly comfortable making development. That's why. So just mostly, again, putting it out there of, not to, like, hey, Sony has a track record of doing this, and it'd be a pretty cheap win for them at whatever event they want to announce this at. I feel like Tartarus would be kept the same. That's kind of. I feel like Tartarus would almost feel like the big one they have to change, at least in the sense of Tartarus thematically, yes, would have to stay the same, but there's ways to expand upon it. Like, there's nothing in the lore of Tartarus that's like, hey, and it has to look like the same building floor 900 times. That's at least what I think. Make it more like Mementos. I mean, there's like, honestly, I'll put this out there. Do not be surprised to see something like driving around on Makoto's bike being something you unlock in this game. Or having an option.
Roger. I'll attempt to analyze the enemy.
Oh my gosh. Jose being in Tartarus would be mind-blowingly weird. Also, 44 of y'all being here. Thank you very much. I have been meaning to make a kind of post about this, but I will be starting a fundraiser, like full-on, like car wash level fundraiser with the thermometer and everything for us going out to Anime Expo this year. So, as you all may know, Los Angeles, unfortunately, very expensive. And I would love... Oh, no! I would love to cover Anime Expo for the first time on this channel in a way that I've never really been able to before. So a lot of it is just going to be like, hey, I'm going out there anyway, but if you guys want to help, basically anything through collective donations on YouTube Super Chat, patreon.com/SMTN, and YouTube, like, whatever. Any place people are donating from now until July, it's going to be going towards this, like, goal. And if we hit the goal, awesome. It'll lead to a bunch of, like, cool, like, video stuff and interviews and things like that. If not, it all just helps as well, because it's like, it's a commitment I've already put to making. But if anyone out there is listening and likes the show and wants to kind of help out with it, it's just extra additional assistance, which Lord knows I'm not going to say no to. But yeah, I'll be making an official thing on that probably like next week. But yeah, just wanted to give you all a bit of a heads up, especially since we had so many people here. If you enjoy the podcast, if you've ever enjoyed it or whatnot, stuff like that, not whatnot.com, don't worry, we're not sponsored. God knows nobody's ever going to sponsor this channel yet, apparently. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening on there. So, hey, who knows who we'll see out there. I have a couple of interesting perspective interviews lined up for Anime Expo, so I hope that can actually land out. The mysterious relatives from LA. When do you plan on bringing back the podcast normally? So, hey, good news, Alex Profit. You're listening to it right now. But yes, in the normal sense, I've had a couple of things get pushed around. I've had some guests that are planned and are still planning on coming on, but have just been either busy or sick and things like that. The Persona 4 Arena manga discussion got pushed back because just straight up the manga got, like, kind of low-key delayed, for lack of a better word. Which, by the way, has anyone had any luck? Like, all I know is that the manga has gone out. Like, it's been shipped. But that's kind of about it. Oh, excuse me. Thank you for the money. With the answer being the P3 remake or big no, the plan of the remake is to be the de facto definitive edition of it. It would include not only all content from Persona 3 and everything else around it, but would also include more things to it. I don't know if that would necessarily mean, like, more or just deeper story, or hey, maybe they, like, actually want to do, like, cooler stuff. It could be like, hey, let's include some stuff with, like, some of the arena cast or include arena costumes and things like that. Yeah, so Mark, the Persona 4 Arena Volume 1 was supposed to ship the last week of March. Ended up not actually leaving the distributors until like the first or second week of April, and has been basically, depending on where it shipped from, should be in stores, but no, I haven't seen anyone pick up a copy yet. I keep looking, I've got one copy ordered online, but it's just been delayed at the moment. Will Vincent be in the remake? Vincent, probably no. Man drinking at bar, I'm guaranteed. That'd be cool actually if they like lean into the Vincent thing more, but that's hard to say, as that's definitely has always kind of felt more like a Studio Zero's baby. Yes, we all need to know, will the additional content be them playing musical instruments? Alright. Not having played Persona 3 Portable in a very long time, it is so funny how little I remember enemies' weaknesses. But I also just have not played a lot of games in a long time. Matt the Wob! What's going on? Will we see Yukiko? Yeah, we'll get a weird 3D model of child Yukiko. Also, again, by facto of including the answer, they'll also now have a chance to flesh out the answer and make it much more than its current very shallow form back on the PS2 version. So, I mean, that's at least like a thing for me of like how deep will they really do it. I think that kind of also ties into how deep do they really want to mess with the gameplay, similar to, wow, I cannot talk at all. Similar to Tartarus. So we'll kind of see that as well. Fancy answer too. I mean, really, for the answer, Fancy would just kind of just be replacing where the protagonist is during the answer, unless they want to get like really weird with it. Like they could do the Assassin's Creed thing with the story and end up doing the both protagonists exist at the same time. The only difference is like whoever you play as, the other one is kind of less important in the story. But hard to say if they'd actually want to do that. Interesting idea, actually, Morgan. Yeah, hopefully RGG, the Yakuza studio, works with the remake. I could actually see that, especially because of me not knowing who the other development team is. That would actually be a really expensive choice to have two internal teams kind of split. Because remember, the Yakuza team is already working on the Yakuza, the man who stole his name, and then Yakuza 8. But they have a lot of like RPG knowledge over there now and city building tech that I'm sure would be extremely helpful to a game that's going to have to build a bunch of this pretty much from scratch. Red, I completely understand. Again. Oh, yes, the man who erased his name. Thank you, Super. But yeah, again, I'm putting this out there less a thing of, hi-ho, let me build up the rumor-mongering pit, and more just being like, hey, it's a thing. It's like... I'm trying to think of a comparison to it. From it coming from me, I hope adds a lot of legitimacy to it, because as I said, I'm the last one who wants this to be made. But that doesn't mean I'm going to naysay it. If there's a legitimately good chance... Oh, no. There will be both the answer and female protagonist as a choice. It's not either or. But yeah, so... Yes, also, the more we talk about it, the more real it is legally obligated to become. I forgot about that as well. Oh my god, could you imagine Ichiban being like a secret boss in a Persona 3 remake? I think people would actually fucking die. My mind is still set on a voice cast being replaced. Realistically, if the remake is years off and after P6... No, by the way, this would be pre-P6. However early off we think this remake is, P6 is still off. P6 is still very, very, very much off. But yeah, like, let's think about the whole voice cast thing. Actually, let me see if I can pull up on my phone, make a poll. Would we want the cast to be redone? Would we want them just to, like, keep it all original? I'm in the camp that, like, I'd say if we're gonna, like, if we're doing a, like, F it $1 million remake of Persona 3, I'd say let's just include everybody. And I mean everybody. Like, let's get OG everybody back for this remake. Because, hypothetically, it's kind of got to be the last thing they'll ever have to do with the Persona 3 cast, to my knowledge. Let's see. I'm trying to pull up the stream on YouTube and see if I can get a poll. Here we go. No dice. But I can super chat to myself for some reason. Which at that point I don't even know where the money would come from. Fuka's again, I'm like, hey, in my scenario dream world for the English dub, which has not even been like minusculely brought up, I'd be into it. But that's it. Like, that's the absolute most of it. Because I know in Japan they're keeping all the voice actors the same, because of course they are. Is it confirmed there will be worried Data Mimon, worried Data Mimon? Yeah, don't worry too much. Yeah, it's they're not having a hostage situation here. I guarantee. Your experience has increased. Thank God. But yeah, like again, I said, this is not going to be a crazy long kind of podcast, mostly because I got to do a bunch of like cleaning and stuff today. We have family in town for Easter week, so if you guys have any questions for me though now, I'll be able to do questions for like another 10 to 15 minutes if you guys like. Ooh, Deep Weave, you know I love that topic, but that's only just because I also love GTA. I'll do you one better. I bet you we see gameplay for GTA 5 officially released from Rockstar before we actually get P6 announced. That's my guess. Officially. If they reported P1 and 2, do you think they would port Eternal Punishment PS1 or translate? No, they would translate off the PSP one. Why they haven't just done a game and call it the Revelations Collection still greatly upsets me, but also apparently me having anything on my way upsets God or YHVH. I really do think I really do think, though, that once all their announcements that they planned are out, Atlas should really, like, talk about how fucked up their original plans got changed around. Because it's, like, almost impressive how many last-minute changes happened. Morgan, I would also love a port of SMT4. It's just like I just can't see it happening. Like, I also couldn't see Persona 3 getting remade, to be fair, but that's like at least, guaranteed money of some kind. Whereas if you remade or remastered SMT4 and Apocalypse, there's a pretty good chance that that just kind of goes out and gets farted out to like 100,000 people buy it, and then no one else ever talks about it. Which would be a shame. I forgot who said it, but someone was asking, is the SMT5 port still planned for this year? Yes. To my knowledge, the PC port and at least a console version not on Nintendo Switch should be out within the next, like, calendar year. No, Caitlin Moon, I would say, I don't think at all that Persona 1 and 2 are going to get forgotten. We just have to remember, they're working their way backwards. Hilariously slowly, but they're working their way backwards from P5 to sequel to P5 to a port of P5 to a port of P4 to a port of P3 to a remake of P3 to then just do a HD PSP collection of Persona 1 to Duology and then call it a day there. Birdman, do I think GTA 5 is coming to Switch? Never say never, but also I just appreciate someone asking that question in this chat. I would never play it there, but also I have a problem and I buy way too many GTA games, so never say never to. Honestly, I've bought GTA games just because of, like, it had an exclusive radio station, so I clearly shouldn't be saying anything. That's the real answer. I'm gonna bash you. Man, if Square Enix licensed out the HD 2D engine for anything Persona related, I think I would lose my absolute fucking mind. But that would never happen, because that's proprietary tech. But it'd be awesome. Especially those PS1 games, they would really, really, really help. Am I taking answering honestly questions? Jock, I'm taking all questions. When have I ever said, no way, Jose, I'm not talking about this? It's the open book corner. Any questions are welcome. Etrian Odyssey related, Digimon related. You want to talk One Piece? We'll talk anything you guys want to talk about. I would say if they're doing a remake of anything Persona 1 and 2 duology, never, trying to think. I think there's no reason to ever release those games without having both soundtracks. O'Shea, Easter was fine. Spent it with the in-laws, who are still in town. Walked around a lot more than I thought, ate way more food than I probably should have ever eaten, and took a coma last night that was so deep. It was one of those sleeps that I was like, wow, this is those kind of sleeps that kill people before, like, if you don't wake up for it, we'll just kill you. Like, that's what it felt like. Do you think One Piece Odyssey is getting an English dub? I would have loved it if One Piece Odyssey had an English dub, even though I mostly consume One Piece through manga, which is not voiced, or watch in Japanese. But I thought it had a chance to have a big yawn, excuse me. Ironically, back when I lied to myself and said I have time for videos, I kind of actually wanted to work on a video discussing One Piece. I think it's Unlimited Carnival. And the reason I wanted to talk about it so bad was literally just because one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it so bad was literally just due to the fact that save please. I forgot what I have to do. There we go. One of the reasons I wanted to talk about it so bad was that was the first and last time. It was the first and last time they had ever used the Funimation dub for games. Because we had a couple of games that used the 4Kids dub, but what was so wild about using the Funimation dub is they had just started redubbing the whole series. And what was so funny about it was they picked who they had for like Robin and Frankie and Lucci and all these people who they actually just stuck it out with, which is so funny to me. Oh, do I think Pirate Warriors 5 will come out when the anime finishes? There's a really... That's a good question. There was a really long wait between Pirate Warriors 3 to Pirate Warriors 4, but I feel like that was mostly on like Koei Tecmo. I mean, on Bandai, because they were the publisher. I don't know. Especially since it kind of had its own ending for Wano, it's a little bit weird. I could see them maybe doing a Pirate Warriors 5 that's just like Pirate Warriors 2 sooner, and it just takes a lot of other stories that aren't the show and kind of going from there. Or maybe they just like do the movies or something. Like there's things they could do for sure. But yeah.
It must be guarding this
Hey,
area.
good news interview.
So be careful.
Alright everybody, so will we get absolutely clapped in this? We'll never know. Can you please tell us what R&D 1 in general is working on since SMT5 and Soul Hackers are finished? Right now, I know very little about that. I know they're doing some support help on much smaller capacities, but I know they're doing something. I don't know if that something has actually been put down on. Like, in terms of if they're for sure doing a thing. Because I could see them being like, oh, we're going to start work on a new SMT spinoff, or maybe we'll just work on SMT 6, or maybe it's something less exciting and they just end up working on a definitive edition of SMT 5 that has some extra story content. So, no, I haven't heard anything at all from that, but again, less to be confused by that, mostly because the teams have just been putting out stuff, so we just got Soul Hackers, we just got SMT5. Usually we wait a little bit longer than that, but because those games had worldwide releases, it seems more like, oh, we should have heard something by now, except not really. What are the chances of Devil Survivor 3? I would chop off my left leg for Devil Survivor 3, but that's probably not happening. That, to me, seems like one of those games that you do a collection of before you do a 3. Like, you could do a really sexy Devil Survivor 1 and 2 HD collection for this 3DS remakes and go on from there. Soul Hackers 2, but good. That came out last year, actually, but good try. Thank you, though. Oh, but yeah, everybody. Whew, excuse me. Hey, everybody. Thank you again so much. X-Wing Toast, thank you for this, because I've had this pop up a couple times on Twitter, but I haven't really had a good time to address this. Any update on the patches coming for Persona 3 Portable / Persona 4 Golden? No. To my knowledge, the patches are done. There are complete submitted builds for PC, console, and everything. Sega just hasn't released them yet. They're not the developer of this, so they get the patches, but it's up to them when they choose to submit them for submission, which does cost money, so that might be why. But really kind of disappointing to see that, especially because I know people kind of feel like these just sort of got dumped out into the wild. But yeah, unfortunately, outside of that, I know that they've been worked on, but we have no better news than that, unfortunately, guys. Spencer, do you know if the Etrian Portrait DLC to get it? And I mean, hey, remember, Sonic Origins decided to wait a year and add a bunch of emulated games and then patch some stuff. So, like, never say never. Oh, yes, the Jet Set Radio talk as well. I'll also do about that. Thank you so much for the reminder, Pure. You guys are always on top of the game today. I don't know if I would want this to have a game like with inheritance. Just because 3 didn't really need it, but I mean, hey, you could have said the same thing about Nocturne, which ended up getting it. So, tomato, tomato. But yes, Jock, so do you think the Etrian DLC is pre-order exclusive, or will they be able to be purchased after launch? I know for now they're being told as they are exclusive. That, though, because it's like one of the rare things of new content with it, I have a very strong feeling that that will just be made available instantly. So, Jet Set Radio time. Yes, in that clip, they did show, along with Sonic and some very early Monkey Ball teasers, they did show some Jet Set Radio dancing. I'm not gonna lie. I have zero faith in Sega making a good Jet Set Radio with their internal teams. That, to me, seems like a game I'd rather someone just make for them. Like, if anything, it gave me, like, Dance Central vibes. It's not usually a good thing. And... Alright. And for me, Sega's been leaning into bringing back old IP with the new Super IP thing, which I absolutely find yucky, blah. And trying to make a live service version of Crazy Taxi already sounds gross. I think I do. Ooh, no. Oh, no. Okay, good. But, yeah. I'd want to see some actual gameplay. The models look rough. The who's making it is almost less important than the how that game feels. And it's just one of those games I just need to know how it feels before I do anything else. But yeah, that is my thoughts. We actually somehow didn't die in that boss fight, so that was actually kind of funny. Remember when they brought back Space Channel 5 as a VR game? Yeah, to be fair, that's also another game that just the old devs brought back, and Sega licensed them to make it. Like, Sega put no money into that. They just made money, or at least got money for giving someone else the IP. But yeah, everybody, thank you for being here and watching either me scramble around or play. Hopefully I answered some of your questions over the last 50 minutes. Normal episodes will hopefully be back soon. I have guests lined up. I am also really needing your guys' good luck. I have a couple of opportunities work-wise that are coming up, and it would mean the world to me if you guys could send me some good luck. You guys have been so awesome and so patient through everything. But man, this is one of those things that's just like, if I could land this would be so helpful for me in so many ways. So, yes, the good vibes help. You listening to the podcast live helps. Downloading the show, sharing the show, coming onto the random live streams at 10 o'clock in the morning, all of these things help. I really appreciate it, you guys. Just wanted to say thank you all so much. Matcha Navi, thank you as well. Deep Weeb, everybody for popping into the show live, even if it was just for a moment or two. Gilberto, thank you. Everybody, I always appreciate you guys popping in here, listening to the podcast. Regularly scheduled shows, they're coming. I have some great guests lined up. I can't wait to get them back to you. And also, just, I'm glad I didn't just have to talk about more Persona 5 mobile game news, because we'll end with my spicy topic of the day, I guess, but I just couldn't, even after all the beta gameplay, I just couldn't seem to care about Persona 5X. It's just Persona 5 on a phone, and I don't really need that in my life. But you know what? I know some people will. And if you're enjoying what you've seen so far, I'm very happy for you. But everybody, thank you again. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on the Persona 3 remake, whether you watch this live or after the fact, or listen to this live. You can find us on Twitter at SMT Network, Facebook group, pages, Discords, all that fun stuff. And also don't forget to check out patreon.com/SMTN to help donate, help get us to Anime Expo, help make us cover the show better, pay for the hosting fees in any way you can, all that fun jazz. But I will see you all later. Have a good one. Goodbye.